Well, good morning. Welcome to today's Science, Tomorrow's Healthcare, the 2012 LifeScience Alley Conference. I'm Beyl Wallstrom, President and CEO of LifeScience Alley. It is absolutely great to see you here this morning. I want to thank all of you for participating in our community every day, and especially today, as we prepare to examine the radical transformation occurring in the delivery and payment of healthcare and the associated technologies. The goal of this year's conference is to increase your opportunity for success in the shifting commercial and healthcare delivery landscape. Today, more than 400 organizations and close to 1,000 people are gathered here to discuss their approach to innovation and business growth, leading to the delivery of affordable and better healthcare. This conference is designed for you to connect with other life science and healthcare professionals, to share best practices, to identify critical resources, and to understand how your customers and the operating environment that they are in are changing. LifeScience Alley, we want to thank our premier conference sponsors, our global supply chain partner, FedEx, the new technology showcase partner, Mayo Clinic, and our premier partners, a Greater MSP and University of Minnesota, for helping to make today's events possible. I'd like to pause here for just a moment and just add a comment or two about these premier sponsors. Without our premier sponsors, we could not have this event. And these premier sponsors this year have made a very serious commitment to this industry, all the way from in changing their own business models to accommodate the rapidly changing environment that we operate in. And I really want to encourage you to please stop by their quartile. You'll see the names hanging above, and speak with them, talk to them, because each one of them is changing their business models to adapt to the changing world that we live in. So I want to thank them with all sincerity, because without the sponsors of these kind of events, just couldn't happen. So I'd like to offer them a round of applause. Okay, this event today represents the culmination of our work for 2012 to improve the support of and the leadership for the industries and stakeholders that we serve. As an organization, LifeScience Alley is focused on creating a better environment for growth and success through our 4 pillars of operation. Those pillars are advocacy, education, making connections, and through cultivating of innovation. To guide our work, we rely on you to share your concerns, your key issues with us, so that we can continuously refine and build on these services to meet your needs. With that in mind, I'd like to share several key accomplishments that have a direct impact on all of you in your work. One of the biggest issues that are facing the nation's medical technology industry remains our uncertainty in the regulatory environment. In April of 2011, we undertook the biggest project that we've undertaken to date. We began a dialogue with the leadership in the FDA Center for Devices and Radiological Health regarding improving the science used to develop and assess the safety and the effectiveness of medical devices. Our primary goal is to establish a new dialogue with the FDA and rebuild trust between industry and the agency, so improvement in medical device and the medical device environment could be achieved. At this very event last year, we signed a memorandum of understanding with the director of the FDA's Center for Device and Radiological Health, Dr. Jeff Shuren, which provided a framework necessary to turn that dialogue into action. This past Monday in Washington, D.C., and then earlier this morning, we announced the formation of the Medical Device Innovation Consortium, otherwise known as the MDIC, a public-private partnership with CDRH. The MDIC, which has been incubated by LifeScience Alley in direct partnership with CDRH, will spin out into a new nonprofit organization sometime in February or March. The MDIC gives us the legal structure to bring technical leaders from industry and academia together with government agencies to operate in a safe place to advance medical device regulatory protocols with the goal of accelerating the approval and speed and cost of new products coming to market and enhancing performance along the way. We had also announced recently the selection of Dr. Maura Donovan as interim executive director of the Medical Device Innovation Consortium. Most recently, Dr. Donovan has served as Vice President of Therapy Research and Development for Medtronic Incorporated. As the interim executive director, Dr. Donovan is in the process of recruiting the inaugural executive committee of the consortium, building the organization's membership, and will soon initiate the very first subcommittee teams to identify and lead specific projects. I would encourage you to stop by booth number 217, which is right in the corner over there, and meet with Dr. Donovan, Dr. Michelle McMurray-Heath, and Nancy Plahowski from the FDA. There you can learn more about the FDA's regulatory science strategy, which is a foundation of change for the FDA, and how you can participate in the MDIC to make things better. Okay. We know that regulatory issues are not the only things that are facing your organization and the challenges that you have to deal with. In 2012, we also held over 120 educational events and networking events that brought really tens of thousands of people like you together to meet each other and to form strategic relationships. We've also provided strategic advocacy support that I'll expand on in just a minute. And additionally, in 2012, we added a fourth area of service intended to cultivate innovation through our merger with the Beyl Business Alliance of Minnesota. This fourth pillar will be branded, and you're hearing this for the first time, in a public environment, the Innovation Engine, and will be comprised of a suite of programs that are intended to foster an environment of commercialization for knowledge-based industries in Minnesota by improving access to qualified people, advanced technology, and capital. We will be formally launching the Innovation Engine early this next year, so please stay tuned and participate. We look forward to that. In everything that we do, we are locally focused with national influence and global reach. As many of the issues that we are facing, our members go far beyond the borders of Minnesota. To this end, we have continued to expand our advocacy capabilities at the state and at the federal level. We focus on policies that are intended to improve the business climate for our members and to spur opportunities for business development. In addition, we're always tracking legislation and attempting to negate policies that could negatively impact you, the members of our community. During our last year's Minnesota State legislative session, we pursued an agenda of programs that were intended to increase opportunities for commercialization and to grow the strength and the breadth of our life science community. We were very successful in achieving very significant bipartisan support. We expect to continue that progress in 2013's state session as Minnesota focuses on jobs and economic growth. In Washington, D.C., our efforts have been focused on key issues that are related to national health care reform. And in the year of paradigm shifts, we have worked closely with our federal delegation to amplify the voice of Minnesota's life science community in Congress. In our advocacy efforts and all of our work, your support in moving Minnesota's life sciences agenda forward is crucial. So I urge you to get involved, absolutely urge you to get involved. And if you are already a member of the Life Science Alley, please become part of that voice. Add your voice to the chorus. If you're not yet a member, I encourage you to join us in this very important effort. And on that note, several members of our congressional delegation want to reach out to you today and demonstrate their support to you. And we're going to start first with Representative Eric Paulson with a special video message.
Hi, I'm Congressman Eric Paulson, and I want to thank you for being part of Life Science Alley's 2012 conference in Minneapolis. I want to especially thank Dale Wallstrom, Shane Mandel, and the entire LSA staff for putting together today's events. These are incredible times for the medical device industry in our community and around the country. Innovation is the key for U.S. economic growth and new job creation. I believe we must create an environment where our entrepreneurs can continue to develop new products, new ideas, and solidify our positions as the global leaders in technology. As co-chair of the Medical Technology Caucus, along with Senator Amy Klobuchar, I've seen firsthand some of the work our great medical device community is doing right here in Minnesota. There are over 35,000 jobs at 400 of those companies here, 200 of which are in my district. I believe the future is bright for this industry to continue to be a Minnesota success story. Many of you know that this past summer, the House and Senate passed bipartisan legislation to reauthorize user fees paid by companies to the FDA. As part of that legislation, I made sure to include several needed reforms, including third-party review and reestablishing least burdensome principles. We've secured important reforms in the user fee package, and because of this, there are some in Washington who feel they lost this round to the industry. I'm afraid folks are now going to take that fight to CMS payment processes and try to ensure that products go through more burdensome tests before they will be reimbursed by CMS. Congresswoman Anna Eshoo of California and I recently sent letters to the FDA and Commissioner Margaret Hamburg to ensure that the FDA is reporting their progress to meeting these new benchmarks, and we now need to continue to follow up on a regular basis to request formal reports on their work. Additionally, I've heard concerns from the device community about the existing coding process for medical devices. As a member of the House Ways and Means Committee, which does have jurisdiction over Medicare payments, I am uniquely positioned to help ensure that Medicare pays for quality and innovation. In a time of tight budgets and spending growth, this will be a challenge. But, unlike many in Washington, I understand that new and innovative products have the potential to dramatically reduce healthcare costs over the long term. I look forward to continuing to work with your industry and you to improve patient access to innovative products. And finally, I want to give you an update on the legislation that I've been working on around this disastrous medical device tax that was part of the new healthcare law. This $30 billion tax is a tax put on medical devices on revenue. So even if a company is not yet profitable, they will pay that tax that goes into effect on January 1st. My bill, which passed earlier this summer with broad bipartisan support and every single member of the Minnesota delegation, is now awaiting action in the U.S. Senate. I've talked to leadership in the House, and I've asked them to keep the pressure on so that the device tax repeal is a part of the year-end tax discussions with the President as well. Thank you all for being a part of the LifeScience Alley Annual Conference. Let me know whenever and however I can be helpful to you by calling my Minnesota office or visiting my website at paulson.house.gov.
Thank you, Representative Paulson. I have to tell you, just an editorial comment here that, and we have partners here from AdvaMed and MDMA who are here today, and hopefully that you'll bump into them. And I think they will reaffirm that in Washington, D.C., the Minnesota delegation, Democrats, Republicans alike, are the very clear voice for our industry. And we are very proud of that. And I bring this up because I really want to ask you to please support them. You know, let them know your thoughts. Keep communicating with them because they're in the trenches every day fighting for us. So before I introduce our keynote speaker, we'd like to just take a moment, though, and draw your attention to the screen. We have a Twitter hashtag for the conference, and we'd like to encourage you to please use that, entering a hashtag in the screen behind me with your tweets. I will be tracking and streaming your tweets live throughout the day. So with that, now I would like to I have the great pleasure of introducing Jerry Beyl, Vice President for Sales at FedEx, and Jerry, and this year's Global Supply Chain Partner. And then Jerry will be introducing our keynote speaker for the morning. Jerry?
Thank you, Dale. I think the picture on the screen was taken at the very first LifeScience Alley conference. Might have aged a bit. Good morning, everyone. I have the privilege of introducing Julie McHugh, COO of Endo Health Solutions, as our keynote speaker this morning. But before I take that honor, I want to thank the organizers of LifeScience Alley for building a superb forum for the exchange of ideas and innovations in the healthcare space. Minneapolis and Minnesota in general are critical components of both the U.S. and the global healthcare marketplace. That's evidenced by the participation in this meeting hall today and by the many shipments and packages and skids that we deliver around the globe for customers like you from the state that originate or are destined to the state of Minnesota or Minneapolis. You know, FedEx is just one of many sponsors of this year's event, and we are very pleased to be this year's global supply chain sponsor. I will say that it's a little dangerous, Julie, to put a vice president of sales with a microphone in front of 600 customers, but I promise to be brief in my remarks. This healthcare space has always been a very important segment of our business. As you well know, you folks in the healthcare space, pick a country around the globe, and whatever country you pick, healthcare is growing faster than GDP in that country. So it's a very lucrative business to be in, as you all know. Certainly it is for us as we handle your packages. And it's a space that we have, as I said before, have always been very serious about. We've escalated our activity in the healthcare space over the last few years. Our chairman, for example, has sat on the board at Mayo Clinic for some time in past years, and this goes all the way down to even our couriers. Whether our courier is delivering a package in Minneapolis or Mumbai, that courier understands the value and importance of the life that he or she is serving to take care of the healthcare customers around the globe. I believe that we have earned our market share, which is dominant, by the way, in the healthcare space, and I think we've earned that by the reliability of our networks. But I also believe, and I really strongly believe this, that reliability is no longer enough. We have got to figure out a way to help you and to innovate and bring new products and services to the market that improve the way you service your customers. And we have done some of that. I'll give you 3 examples real quickly. We've developed a product that we call SenseAware that is a state-of-the-art real-time monitoring and visibility device that goes inside the box that provides GPS capability, wherever that box might be around the globe. It provides temperature monitoring information to you on a real-time basis. It provides light sensitivity, many things that hopefully all of you can stop by our booth, and we'll give you much more explanation on SenseAware. But it's an industry-changing, cutting-edge piece of technology that gives visibility and monitoring. We've also developed what we believe to be a industry-changing deep frozen product. We call it FedEx Deep Frozen. It is a turnkey cryogenic doer that we can now move around the globe to protect products that are deep frozen. And finally, from a supply chain management standpoint, in other words, third-party logistics, we operate well over 1 million square feet of fulfillment and warehouse space around the globe in places such as Shanghai and Singapore and Malaysia, Tokyo, and many other places around the globe. So if you currently use FedEx in your business, we thank you very much. If you don't use FedEx, well, we'd like to have a chat with you sometime today at our booth, so please stop by and let us talk. So that's the end of the FedEx commercial. It is with great honor that I present today's opening keynote speaker, Julie McHugh. Ms. McHugh is Chief Operating Officer of Endo Health Solutions. Prior to joining Endo, Ms. McHugh was CEO of Nora Therapeutics, a venture capital-backed biotech company focused on the treatment of infertility disorders. Prior to Nora Therapeutics, she was company group chairman for Johnson & Johnson's worldwide virology business unit, which included oversight of an R&D portfolio, including compounds for HIV, hepatitis C, and tuberculosis. She was also president of Centocor, a J&J subsidiary. Ms. McHugh received a Bachelor of Science degree from Pennsylvania State University and her Master of Business Administration degree from St. Joseph's University. She currently serves on the board of directors of Vero Pharma, Inc., the board of directors of the Biotechnology Organization, the board of directors of the New England Healthcare Institute, the board of visitors for the Schmiel College of Business at Pennsylvania State University, and the board of directors for the Nathaniel Adamczak Foundation. Sounds like a pretty full Outlook calendar to me, Julie. Please join me in welcoming Julie McHugh.
Thank you, Jerry, and good morning, everyone. It's a real pleasure to be with you today at the LifeScience Alley Conference. I had the opportunity to be here back in May for the MedTech Conference, and again, it's really a pleasure to be back with this community. This is an exciting time to be in healthcare. Healthcare has seen dramatic transformations over the last century, and we are currently in the middle of yet another transformation, in many ways even more impactful than the ones in the past. Forces are coming together that are changing the fundamentals of governance, compensation, technology, and patient expectations. All of that comes together in a new demand for closer ties across the entire system of delivery. Nowhere is that more important than between those who create the tools of care and those who use the tools in the delivery of care. I look at this landscape from the perspective of one of the providers of these tools, and I see considerably more questions than answers. But we know three things for sure. One, the old growth model is broken. Two, control has shifted from providers to payers and policymakers. And three, there is a much more sophisticated healthcare consumer today than ever before. The end users of the system aren't the quiet and accepting customers of the past. Patients are well informed, they're internet-enabled, and they come into the system expecting one thing: to get better. Payers want cost effectiveness, and even with healthcare reform, they are going to continue to be a factor in what we can deliver and at what cost. Policymakers want to continue to fix a broken system and expand access to care. A changing system lands squarely on physicians' connections with patients. And I certainly can't speak for the entire medical community, but it's clear that across all the medical providers we encounter, that physicians want to restore the connection that has been so greatly altered and in many ways damaged by the forces of change. I want to spend a little time today talking to you about how all this has come together for Endo and for our vision for a new kind of healthcare company, a kind of company that is redefining healthcare. We see an opportunity to redefine and reimagine healthcare solutions. The true value of healthcare delivery lies at the intersection of access to treatment, the economics of those solutions, and quality patient outcomes. Physicians want better solutions. Patients want to get better. Payers want a reliable financial model. And Endo's collaborative, customer-driven approach enables our employees to see a need, craft a solution, and to find a better way to guide our customers. To give you a little history, let me tell you about where we've come from and where we are headed and how it all fits together. Endo Pharmaceuticals became an independent company in 1997, focused exclusively on branded pharmaceuticals in pain management. The new Endo started to take shape about 4 years ago with new leadership and a vision of a new strategic focus on integrated solutions. We set out to turn this product-centered company into a company that provides better care by redefining healthcare value. Our mission is to provide high-quality and effective solutions with a focus on 3 areas: economic value, access to care, and better patient and higher quality patient outcomes. We have to connect our mission to everything that we do. Economics means balancing fair price points and profitability with a focus on innovative delivery and technology platforms. Access means addressing the entire system, every point in the value chain to make sure that we fill channels with products and services that connect patients with the therapies that they need. Outcomes means focusing on multiple therapy platforms and the entire delivery system. Those outcomes center on the patient bottom line, survival rates, recovery rates, length of recovery, infection rates, and overall improvements in quality of life. That's why we're in business, and that's how we measure our success. When we began to re-envision our company, we knew that there was no growth in duplication. So we looked at the areas where solutions were lacking or underdeveloped, or as we call them, the gaps in the care pathways. By pathways, I mean the continuum of care made up of all the interrelated diagnostics, therapies, and devices that form the whole of patient solutions for a given disease or healthcare condition. Growth is in the gaps, where patient need and company opportunity intersect. Aligning the company to address those gaps demands some serious rethinking about what we do and how we do it. It means repositioning ourselves from a provider of medicines to a partner with physicians, payment providers, and policymakers. It means offering multiple solutions within a disease state pathway, even if those solutions compete. This is a very exciting time for Endo. We say we are a healthcare solutions company, but what does that mean? At Endo Health Solutions, we're venturing beyond branded pharmaceuticals to bring to market state-of-the-art devices, valuable generics, and intuitive healthcare systems and services. Combined as an end-to-end solution in the pain management and urology market segments, these pathways redefine what healthcare can be and what it means to physicians, patients, and providers. The vision is to approach therapeutic areas and disease states as care pathways, and to identify and develop and incorporate medical interventions beyond the traditional pharmaceutical and biological treatments. As I mentioned, we were a pure-play branded specialty pharmaceutical company. Today, we're a multi-technology platform company offering products and services across a wide spectrum, including devices, diagnostics and services, specialty pharmaceuticals, and generic pharmaceuticals. To meet the needs of today's healthcare customers, Endo Health Solutions combines the diverse products and services of these 4 business units to help improve treatment outcomes and increase access to care. This unique approach to aggregating healthcare treatments and information opens the way for greater innovation and collaborative partnerships among our business segments and their customers. And that can sustain development of even better solutions going forward. We have diversified our technology base as well as our therapeutic focus from purely focusing on pain management in the past to now having a leadership position not only in pain management, but also in urology. From diagnostics to devices, from acute or chronic care through recurrence or success, we see endless opportunities to fill the gaps in how we address medicine and how we evolve the standards of treatment to find positive patient outcomes sooner. Having joined Endo almost 3 years ago, I'm excited about the change we have undergone to support the sustainable future of this business. I am extremely encouraged by the opportunities that we have to support our future growth. As you all know, the healthcare landscape has significantly changed over the past few years with increasing economic pressures and the introduction of healthcare reform. At Endo, we feel that we are poised to succeed in the new environment with the businesses that we have put together. We often get the question, what has a diversified model done for Endo? Our acquisitions of Endevis, Healthtronics, Penn West, Qualitest, and American Medical Systems have provided multiple new growth platforms, products, and services. They have allowed us to introduce complementary products and services and expand the number of physicians we call on. We've picked our pathways carefully, primarily focused on pain management and urology. Of our 5 recent acquisitions, 3, Endevis, Healthtronics, and AMS, take us further along the urology care pathway. We are bringing together our urology acquisitions in a way that we believe is unique. We're providing devices, specialty pharmaceuticals, services, including diagnostics and health information technology. When we talk about owning the care pathway, this is what we're talking about: creating a refined model that takes a deeper ownership among the healthcare continuum. AMS, from heritage to mission to products and services, is a case study in our strategy in action. AMS created a legacy of clinical support in the operating room, as well as insight into practice management, helping urologists deliver better patient outcomes. AMS has become a partner of choice in urology. AMS is committed to providing better solutions across the entire urology spectrum, including continence care, BPH laser treatments, sexual health, prostate health, and pelvic organ prolapse. The addition of AMS to the Endo family accelerates the broadening of our value proposition, helping us expand the focus from delivery of products to real collaboration in delivering and developing solutions that change lives and even save lives. AMS is the definition of a broader value proposition for Endo. It gives us the template for physician partnerships that expand possibilities for urology solutions. Many of you here today are very familiar with AMS, which is based in Minnetonka, Minnesota. AMS was founded more than 40 years ago by urologists to address the needs of urologists. The business was founded and built on physician and patient education. Building on that foundation, AMS has developed a scale and scope of coverage that makes AMS a trusted partner. AMS has a long tradition of groundbreaking developments, followed by a series of continued refinements to those products based on real-world feedback from urologists and patients. AMS is a company on the move. We're very pleased to have brought on board Camille Ferrat, our new group president for AMS. Camille has the background and the experience to lead our business in the urology marketplace and to bring AMS to the next level. Unfortunately, Camille could not be here today, but sends his regards and is looking forward to working with many of the regional industry leaders that are with us today. For those of you who may not be familiar with AMS, its product portfolio consists of devices that are used to correct physiological problems that otherwise might be very compromising to a patient in terms of their quality of life. These are the types of technologies that take a reasonably minimally invasive approach to correcting an underlying physiological problem. Couple that with the aging demographics, the fact that there are 10,000 patients becoming eligible for Medicare every day, and the fact that those patients are increasingly information-seeking and very sophisticated healthcare consumers. Urology is a highly diverse therapeutic area, and it's becoming more and more of a challenge as the boomer generation grows older and the need for medical interventions in urology reaches critical mass. Let me give you 2 pieces of information to illustrate this. It's well accepted that 65% of men over 65, 75% of men over 75, and 85% of men over 85 will need a prostate treatment sometime in their life. Another anecdote. Severe urinary incontinence affects millions of women worldwide. 1 in 5 women are diagnosed with severe urinary incontinence among those millions suffering from urinary incontinence. And 1 in 5 will likely require a surgical intervention. We believe customers increasingly are not going to be willing to live with these types of conditions, such as erectile dysfunction, urinary incontinence. They're not going to want these conditions as part of their adult life, and they're going to want to seek permanent solutions to those underlying problems. When we talk about owning the care pathway, it's also important to see a connected healthcare marketplace where solutions are more than just products and services or products and devices, and where deeper relationships with customers add tremendous value. Take, for example, AMS's advanced education platform for physicians. For AMS, it's a better way to collaborate where education and training continues well beyond medical school. The practice of medicine is an institution built on breakthrough research, new treatment pathways, and the dissemination of knowledge. Sharing this knowledge through advanced physician training is helping AMS and Endo blaze new ground for increased value and better patient care. Today, new technologies are being engineered far more quickly than physicians can be trained on their use, even outpacing the curricula of the world's most prestigious medical institutions and fellowship programs. This is especially common in the medical devices and services space. The lag in adoption rates of new therapies has created a need for healthcare companies to close the education gap and provide physician training that keeps pace with the development of treatment techniques and technologies. The Global Education and Training Group offered by AMS leverages the power of peer-to-peer interaction and the principles of physician fellowship to deepen and strengthen the quality of training. The mentoring programs developed, both in person and online, reach beyond procedural training to efficiently enhance the practical skills involved with treating patients. By fostering knowledge sharing between physicians, mentors, and technology experts, this is just one example of how AMS employees help physicians efficiently hone their clinical and practical skills. While some companies see physician training as a required initial step, AMS embraces it as a long-term educational pathway to improve outcomes for patients and physicians and providers. When we talk about owning the disease pathway, that is just one example of how we are identifying and developing strategies to further the continuum of care. Redefining the healthcare model is essential to support today's evolving healthcare ecosystem. With every facet of healthcare shifting in some way, we have built an enterprise at Endo that is now much more responsive to these changes and much better able to take advantage of them. The assets that we have assembled into our diversified healthcare enterprise have transformed Endo. Today, we have more products, more production capacity, greater research and marketing expertise, a larger and more robust pipeline, new platforms for growth, and more treatment options to offer physicians and their patients. By focusing on the care pathway approach, we look at the healthcare industry in a different way, and we approach our business strategy comprehensively. Our 4 operating companies work independently in their key markets, but they also work together where markets and customers intersect. Our field sales efforts have been rationalized to better support our customers with more products and better service. As a result, we are better partners with our customers today than we were 4 years ago. Specific to urology, diversification has also enabled us to reach the vast majority of urology practices across the United States, making Endo one of the leading urology specialty companies in the healthcare industry. Our scope and relationships with these physicians is critical to our future growth in this very important therapeutic area. As I mentioned before, one of our acquisitions was Healthtronics, a national provider of urological services. Healthtronics gives us the ability to reach a significant percentage of U.S. urologists through their valued and long-seated business partnerships. This is a relationship that goes beyond products and is focused on the solutions that Healthtronics can bring to the urology practice. The company provides comprehensive management services along with unique access to cutting-edge technology to its urologist partners, and we do this via mobile service equipment. Healthtronics offers 4 major products and services to urologists. Lithotripsy, our core service offering for shockwave destruction of kidney stones. Prostate health equipment, including lasers for benign prostatic hyperplasia and cryoablation systems for the treatment of prostate cancer. Anatomical pathology and clinical diagnostic services. And our newest addition is UroChart and Meridian, which are 2 electronic medical record systems specifically designed for urologists. Our investment in data platforms in the form of electronic medical records tie together the products and services that we provide, and we will provide significant future opportunities for the growth and enhanced utilization of our products. Our expansion into electronic medical records deepens our relationship with our urology customers, as well as positions us at the center of data collection and data analytics, which we believe will play an increasingly important role in the future. Healthtronics now supports more than 12 million electronic records created by over 2,000 urologists, and we plan to expand this to 1/3 of U.S. urologists by the end of 2013. If we go back and look at Endo's mission to provide high-quality, effective solutions focusing on economic value, access to care, and outcomes, this is an area where we are now enabled to provide significant transformation for our providers and patients. The interplay between AMS and Healthtronics has allowed us to better plan for current products and services, as well as evaluate innovation in this marketplace through the eyes of our customers. We believe that this provides us with a significant competitive advantage. Together, we have built an unrivaled presence in the urology marketplace where we enjoy broad and comprehensive relationships with providers that cannot be duplicated overnight. Endo now touches more than 70% of all U.S. urologists with one or more of our products and services. All of this creates incremental value across the urology channel and ultimately positions us to be the partner of choice for other companies who are seeking to commercialize new opportunities, new products, new services in the urology space. Our strengths in innovation, our strong customer relationships with the urology community, our focus on robust clinical data, our emphasis on physician training, and our enablement of patient access will allow us to successfully participate in these markets. So what does all of this mean for the future of healthcare? When we talk about redefining a healthcare model, a crucial component must be innovation. Companies are constantly seeking ways to stay ahead of the curve, as well as develop solutions that add value for providers and patients. When I first started talking about the care pathway, I told you that we were identifying opportunities in the gaps along the care pathway. Currently, electronic data represents a major gap along the care pathway. For Endo, technology and data have the potential to be the glue that is going to bind all of our technologies together in such a way that we can position Endo not only as a provider of products and services, but also in the future as a trusted partner who can help our customers identify opportunities to improve patient clinical outcomes by using their data as an important and well understood mechanism to improve patient outcomes. Concepts such as patient flow and patient satisfaction can be better understood. When we look specifically at the urology care pathway, the data garnered from electronic medical records will assist urologists with clinical decisions, examine patient-specific outcome correlations, and improve practice economics. Business strategies today are much different than the traditional pharma or med tech approaches of the past, and these strategies will continue to change in the future. Every product that we develop, before we bring it to market, we ask the question, what is the value proposition of this particular product or service to the healthcare system? It used to be that you could bring a new product to market that was marginally differentiated and charge a premium price, and you can make it a billion-dollar blockbuster. But that model is no longer viable. It simply doesn't work. Now we need to be thinking about how to improve outcomes while minimizing costs or taking cost out of the system. We must have a compelling value proposition or we don't bring the product forward into development. The technologies that I think are going to be successful in the future are the ones that are going to improve outcomes while also taking cost out of the system, creating additional headroom for innovation. We think that these are going to be the winning technologies for the next 10 years. When we look specifically at investments being made by venture capitalists, it's clear that innovation is being redefined. I see VCs investing in technologies that have a compelling value proposition and those that address not only product offerings, but more emphasis on healthcare delivery and information technology. Technologies that improve outcomes while containing or reducing costs for the healthcare system. At Endo, we strongly believe that there is a tremendous opportunity with the changing healthcare ecosystem, and we believe that these changes lead to a healthier nation and a healthier healthcare system in the future. 5 or 10 years from now, I think we'll look back at the last few years as a time when the industry dismantled one model and built a new model. I believe that Endo has gone from a good company to the right company. Right for the times, right for our stakeholders, and right for the kind of partnerships that will meet those stakeholders' rapidly evolving demands. In the end, times change, markets change, economies change, and expectations change. The one constant is the pursuit of excellence and the pursuit of offering better patient outcomes and better value through collaboration with providers and stakeholders along the care pathway. Owning the care pathway has become the linchpin for Endo to develop innovative opportunities, all the while refining what healthcare means to us. I truly appreciate the opportunity to speak with you today, and I want to thank the LifeScience Alley organization for hosting this conference and allowing me to share our story with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. That was fantastic. Having Endo up here doing the opening keynote is really appropriate because when you look at what they're doing, the integration of the various components of their new business model, they're a clear demonstration of what's happening to our entire industry. In fact, our whole industry is under such revolution, such dramatic change that I think as you go throughout the day, you're going to hear the term reinvention, innovation over and over and over again. And in fact, all you have to do is look at the organizations that we've that have spoken today. Everything from the MDIC, which is an example of the FDA trying to reinvent itself. FedEx is trying to reinvent itself to accommodate the change in our environment. You look around at our other sponsors, our other premier sponsors, including Mayo, that's reinventing its mechanisms for getting its really advanced healthcare delivery techniques out and into the commercial sector. University of Minnesota is reinventing itself to again adapt to the changing environment that we are in. And also, you're going to hear from Greater MSP later today, which is an organization that's helping our entire community to reinvent itself. And we at LifeScience Alley are also reinventing ourselves so that we can accommodate that change and be a better support to you. So that was a little, I thought your comments were really appropriate, Julian. Thank you very much. And same with Jerry from FedEx. We really appreciate that component right now. A little shift in direction for just a moment. We don't do this kind of thing very often. In fact, in my recall, I don't recall us doing this before, but there is a gentleman in the audience today. His name is Dr. Tim Mulcahy. I knew Dr. Mulcahy before he knew me. He was actually assigned to be appointed to the board of directors for the Biobusiness Alliance of Minnesota while he was still living in Madison. And I can say with great pride that Tim has become a very personal friend of mine. It hasn't always been easy, and I'm sure he'll attest to that, but we have become really close. As many of you know, Dr. Mulcahy is about to retire from his post as Vice President of Research at the University of Minnesota at the end of this year. And he's going to be pursuing another one of his true loves, which is photography. And again, at a very personal level, I've greatly enjoyed working with Tim, and I will miss him. In fact, our whole state will miss him. I'd like to publicly acknowledge his contributions to our community, to the relationship between university and industry that he's helped to create. And because Tim has done a great deal to reestablish a new foundation on which partnerships between the academic community, the university specifically, and the private sector can be launched. He's led efforts to redefine the role that the university professors and employees play in the formation and the development of new companies. He's led the efforts to revitalize the Office of Technology Transfer and Commercialization. He's challenged our state to do better, and because of that, he's made Minnesota a better place. We were very sad to see him go, but we also look forward to meeting his successor and helping that individual to continue Tim's work. We wish Tim all the best in the world in his new pursuit, and hopefully he'll get bored with photography and want to come back for a while and help us out on special projects. But we'd like to ask Tim to come up on stage at this point, and we'd like to actually offer, we have a gift for Tim. It's actually a print. I'll get it, 1 second. I'll hold this up so you can see it. This is a print that was inspired by the integration of biology in our life science industry, and you can take a chance to look at it later. The artist is Lynn Feldman. She has Feldman Studios actually it's in North Minneapolis now. But we'd like to make sure that Tim leaves here with a memory of Minnesota and in the form of a print. And I'll hang on to this for you, Tim, just a second. But I'd like to offer a round of applause now for Tim before we ask him to make a few comments.
Thank you very much, everybody, and really thank you for this great honor. I'm really humbled to accept this personal recognition from all of you, but I want to accept it on the behalf of my colleagues at the University of Minnesota who've been really instrumental in reinventing the university in the 21st century. You know, the university was founded in 1851 as a land-grant institution and charged with providing education for the citizens of the region and to help them with the economic challenges that they encountered that were unique to each region that a land-grant university was founded. Very important at the time that we helped with agriculture. We helped with the lumber industry. We were important in milling and food industries. In 2012, the University of Minnesota is still a land-grant university, but now our scope is not just local, it's national and global. And our scope of influence has extended beyond farming, milling, and lumber to now include everything, especially those areas that are so vital to what you're here to talk about today. But I think along the way, on our journey from 1851 to 2012, the university sometimes lost its land-grant way. We forgot really what we were here to do, not intentionally, but perhaps because of other focus. And I just want to tell you that that has changed. When I arrived at the university in 2005, we were frequently criticized for being uncooperative at best, indifferent at worst. And I heard this critical message not just from external stakeholders, but from internal stakeholders alike. But I didn't hear in that message disdain. What I heard in that message was an expression of disappointment and of expectations unmet and a need for the university to do better. And that's what we've tried to do. I told the administration at the university that what they were hearing was examples of tough love, just like any parent or loved one would tell an underachiever that they're disappointed, that they need to do better. We heard your message loud and clear. I would just want to say we've made some major changes in the university in the last couple of years. Dale mentioned the overhaul of our tech transfer operations, and I'm happy to say that recently President Kaler was invited to be on a panel at a conference at the White House sponsored by the Department of Commerce. And our invitation to participate was in the letter. It was acknowledged that the University of Minnesota has revolutionized the approach to university tech commercialization, and we want you to come and spread the word to your colleagues. Another thing that we've done in the last 4 years that you may not be aware of is we've launched 33 startup companies out of the university, 12 in the last year alone, and we're on pace to launch even more this year. We've worked to change the prevailing academic culture to one that encourages entrepreneurship. Our tenure policies now explicitly recognize tech commercialization and intellectual property as an academic work product worthy of consideration for promotion, tenure, and merit pay increases. The Board of Regents this month, we expect, will approve a new entrepreneurial leave program, which will allow faculty to take a leave from the university, work with startup companies without forfeiting their university benefits, which has been a major detriment in the past. And as some of you may have seen in the press recently, we'll be presenting to the Board of Regents this month a plan to actually establish two funds, a $20 million early stage technology fund to support the Valley of Death, bridge the Valley of Death for early stage university technologies, and a $50 million venture fund which will have a target for university-based startups, but will be considering other opportunities outside of the university as well. So all in all, we're really trying to be a very effective partner. We've been recognized by many of you as being driven by Discover. You recognize that quote, but I hope you'll recognize that not only are we driven to discover, but we're excited to collaborate. And so I would just say to you, please don't judge us by the legacy of the past. Engage with us again and help us establish the legacy of the future. So Dale, thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for this great honor, and good luck to all of you. Minnesota needs you.
Thank you, Tim, and we wish you luck in your new life. And I just want to repeat one thing Tim said. If you don't know the university of today, then you don't know the university. So if you haven't knocked on their door in the last year or two, I'd suggest going and knocking on the door because it's a different place. So with that, I'm going to introduce now Ryan Baird, Director of Marketing and Communications for LifeScience Alley. Ryan will share a few details with you about the conference. So Ryan, please come forward. Thank you, and thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the conference while Ryan's walking up here. Come on up. While Ryan is walking up here, I just want to repeat that all the sponsors, all the folks out here who put up the displays are all going through the same reinvention process that we all are. So please stop by, take a look at what they're doing. It's very, very important. Thank you.
Thanks, Dale. I'm pleased to announce that today we have attendees from over 25 states with several different countries represented. I would like to extend a very special welcome to the many international delegates participating in today's conference. We couldn't host an event like this without the support of our premier conference partners and sponsors. While our sponsors' names are displayed throughout the venue and in your quick reference guide, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge some of them. We are proud to announce that Mayo Clinic is this year's New Technology Showcase partner. Be sure to visit the special showcase area in the exhibit hall, where our 10 winning companies from the US and Canada are on display. Our breakout session sponsors include Boston Scientific, NAMSA, and Sanford Health. I also wanted to share a few program highlights with you. The exhibit hall includes the UBM Tech Insights IP Theater, featuring several brief presentations on how to protect your intellectual property. New this year is the Innovation Station, hosted by Kablooey Design. You will also find over 15 colleges, institutes, and departments from the University of Minnesota on display in a special quadrant in the back of the exhibit hall. This year, we are also excited to offer Event Mobi, a free mobile conference app that allows you to quickly access today's agenda and seminar information, view maps of the exhibit hall, read sponsor and exhibitor listings, and connect you with fellow attendees via common social networks. If you've not already set up a profile, please visit the site listed on the screen and enter your email address. You will also be able to download a free offline version of the application to ensure access to information without an internet connection. We would like to thank all of our partners and sponsors who help make this event possible. We greatly appreciate their support, so please join me in thanking them.